Welcome to Housing Development.
I'm Jim Tobin.
And I'm Paul Lopez.
Paul, welcome
My
to
man.
frigid Washington, D.C.
I was going to say, to quote Mike Myers, it's freaking freezing in here, Mr. Bibblesworth.
That's exactly. Oh, yeah, that's good. Yeah, I mean, it is cold out there. And I know that we have plenty of our listeners in much colder places,
Right.
but for D.C. it's cold.
Yeah, totally.
It's cold.
So cold that if you're watching online, you know that Jim is wearing a vest.
I'm wearing my Alicia Huey's leadership gift. Yeah. So, it is flipping cold. But you know where it's not cold? That's with our friends at LG.
Yes. Let's give them a shout out.
Give them a shout out. LG, Pro Builder. Let's build a good life together. And
thank you for your support.
Yeah. Thank you for keeping us warm with maybe a Yule log on your LG TV.
Oh, nice.
You can huddle around your Yule log.
I like that. Okay. So quiet week this week.
Yeah, no,
nothing going on.
Yeah, just a little busy in DC.
We got a new administration, obviously, starting this Monday.
Yeah, that's right. This just in. Yeah.
So, man, talk about breakneck speed. I mean, that boy's not playing right now.
Yeah, no, it's obviously hit the ground running. 100 executive orders in the first couple of days.
Yeah.
I mean, look, he said he was going to do that. It's certainly the sense of urgency is there. I think the president clearly understands that from an effective governing window, he's got 2 years with this Congress. You never know what happens in the midterms.
Right.
Now, from an administrative perspective, he's got a couple more, but we are seeing a much freer Trump. Still the same person, same policies he ran on, but there's a kind of a different level of confidence, right? There are a lot of people talking about when he came in 8 years ago. It was they weren't quite sure what they were doing, but much more coordinated. We're seeing the cabinet secretaries move along a breakneck piece. Yeah, so it's good. I mean, the pace of governing is picked up, and that's actually really fun.
Yeah, I mean, day one, he sent out an executive order that gave a shout out to housing, right? Saying we need to fix housing and housing affordability specifically, right?
That's right. And directed all his agencies and departments to look at policies that were impeding the construction of new homes and apartments. What more could he ask for in the first 24 hours of the administration?
Yeah, but like we've always said, even before he got in, we were already talking to his transition team. We gave him our documents of like, this is what we feel is important and what you need to focus on.
Right.
And once again, talking to like Colson and Ken Wingert, they're feeling like these guys are really listening in and honing in on what our message is.
Oh, yeah. I mean, again, as we've been talking about for months, housing and housing construction has been at the forefront of the president's economic pitch. And so he's fulfilling his promises to elevate this issue. So we look forward to engaging the new HUD secretary, the new FHA director, the Treasury secretary, everybody. Yeah. And we touch so many different agencies and departments that, we're going to, I'm optimistic we're going to continue to have real access to this administration to do well for housing.
Yeah, let's put in a little bit of economic spin on this though. Housing finished 2024. Single family finished very strong in 2024,
That's
right? Just over 1 million units.
Right.
Overall was down because of the weakness of multifamily. We knew that was coming, right? But up 6.5 over the previous year. Can Trump make
housing great again? Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Can he? He's promising more housing affordability. Right. Can he do that with interest rates are still hovering around 7%?
Right.
Right. There's still a lot of what we would call headwinds. Right. What can Trump really do to get housing affordability down to where we need it to be?
Well, I think taking a look at the federal burden of regulations on the industry is number one, whether it's the FHA rule on energy codes, whether it's truly following the Supreme Court opinion on waters of the U.S., creating those regulatory regimes that make it easier for members to build. I think the bully pulpit of talking about more home construction,
just getting the message out there.
Just getting the message out there, just talking about it, and then maybe even using some sticks. I've heard him talk about in the context of immigration and sanctuary cities and withholding federal funds if they don't follow what he wants to do. You could see something along those lines when it comes to either transportation dollars or tying federal funds to lowering the local regulatory burdens on housing to build more affordably. Yeah. So there are some things he can do. Interest rates, obviously. In a weird way, he can't direct Chair Powell to lower interest rates, but we are anticipating higher economic growth, which will keep interest rates high. But if we do see maybe less slower action or lower action, I should say, on tariffs, where maybe they're not so high or so widespread. Immigration and deportations, we've already seen this week, focusing on that kind of criminal element.
Yeah.
Maybe we don't dip into the large areas of the economy like ag or home building as quickly or at all.
Right.
And so maybe that's what tempers the bond markets. Kind of hysteria over what Trump's going to look like. The tax bill that comes up, we're going to see that in the next 6 months. Does it add, how much more does it add to the deficit and spook the bond market? So those are some of the policy things that he could do that could ultimately lower interest rates or bring reduce the volatility when it comes to mortgage rates.
Yeah. And obviously it's not in a vacuum, right? The president doesn't work in a vacuum. He's working with Congress, who at the same time is also already throwing out a lot of bills out there that the president likes, right, and that we like, right. So let's first talk about the bill that I think Edwards and Titus threw out there in regards to kind of preserving the decision making of codes and keeping it at the local level, right? That's something that we advocated for.
The two code cycles, specifically when it deals with FEMA and other agencies where we want to make sure rather than have to rebuild to the latest published code, which in some instances is going to be super expensive, you can at least go back a couple of code cycles, at least provide some flexibility. Again, like you said, honoring local code jurisdictions. Yeah.
And then we've got our favorite, right? The ban on gas, water heaters, and the ban on gas. Yeah. We're already seeing that those are in both chambers, right? Right. But in both chambers, there's two bills that are coming out. Right. It looks like it's going to sail fairly easily, right? There's not a whole lot of contention there.
Well, I mean, the only challenge is can you get you need 7 Democrats in the Senate to break the filibuster. So hopefully we can find that. In my mind, this is kind of an easy one on the energy side. Yeah. Very populist. But yeah, I mean, this is plays about fuel choice and the ability to find an affordable product and that makes sense for builders.
Do you get a sense from the Democrats that I don't want to say they've learned a lesson, but it seems to me that they've been a little bit more muted and a little bit more willing to compromise because based on the results of the election, they're willing to, I'm thinking more of like in terms of immigration. They're not going to go to the, as far as the president wants, but they've kind of reined it in a little bit. Also on the environmental issues. Do you see that as well, or am I just making that up?
Yeah, I think they're talking a good game. Like the proof is in the pudding, and it's not. I would say the same thing. It was the other way around on Republicans. Sure. I think we you have the loyal opposition party, in this case the Democrats, certainly licking their wounds from election night. But I also think that maybe we'll see a little bit more common sense where the low-hanging fruit where you can compromise gets done rather than just being locked in partisan closets. And that's hopeful for us. And I think housing is one of those issues that we need bipartisan support on. It's always better to do durable bipartisan legislation to move our industry forward. Yeah. So I'm optimistic. The extremes will always, we have to be careful of those, but let's, I'm a big believer that sometimes 60% of the loaf is better than 0% of the loaf. And we've got to make sure that we can build those coalitions.
All right. We've talked about a couple of legislative issues that are already up in for the vote. Is there anything else that you see down the pike that we're going to be excited about?
Well, I think the tax bill, I talked a little bit about that. I think from a low-income housing tax credit perspective, broad bipartisan support for increasing the credits to go into that program. Yeah. We already saw, maybe we're going to have to guard against a reduction in the allowable mortgage interest that you can deduct from your taxes. Right. Salt, I think, for our members in high tax blue states, talking about you, New Jersey. Right. Maybe doubling the SALT deduction. Anything will help in that space. Right. And, so we'll be active there. We want to make sure that we are making sure that those that there is an incentive for home ownership, and if writing off your state and local property taxes should be part of that.
Ironically, in SALT, it's more the Republicans who are kind of like coming more to the table now than before, right? Those in typical blue states are like, well, wait a minute, we're still in power here. Right. We might as well make some do here and get our constituents happy.
Yeah, and when you've got such a small majority, those Republicans from those blue states, they can carve up any vote that they want. So they and Trump has been on record on the campaign trail saying he supports some SALT relief. Right. So those are some areas I think we're going to see moving quickly forward. Obviously, we have appropriations still has to get done, which means protecting our Job Corps program, as we've done such a good job over the last year or two on that. So there's we're going to be active.
Sure.
And that's not even to say what we're going to do on the regulatory side. Is once these cabinet secretaries get it confirmed,
Right.
deputy secretaries, and they start filling out all the appointees, really engaging on some big ticket items. I've challenged the advocacy team. If you had a magic wand for anything in the industry and that we could fix, let's go try it. What's the worst thing that happens? We don't get it. We know what the expectations are, but let's dream big and let's try to see if we can't take advantage of this administration to see if we can't really move the ball forward.
Yeah, absolutely. You mentioned cabinet secretaries. As of right now, as of today, right? Scott Turner,
right,
along party lines,
yep,
right, got moved forward,
yep,
right. So, have we reached out to? I mean, I know we've reached out to HUD, but what are some of the things that we're going to be addressing with him the moment that he gets into his position?
Well, I think first and foremost is starting the process of rolling back the FHA USDA piece on codes. I mean, I think that's number one. That's set to take go into effect this year.
Yeah.
And we have got to either find a way to delay it. Ultimately, we want to change the law. We've got legislation. We're going to try to change the underpinning of the law. We've got a lawsuit challenging this. I mean, we all facets of the advocacy team are fired up on trying to defeat this and reverse it before it goes into effect and starts costing tens of thousands of dollars to FHA or USDA borrowers. So that's kind of job one.
Right.
And they're going to take a holistic approach to looking at spending in the administration.
Sure.
We want to make sure that we're not gutting good programs for the sake of just cutting spending. So we'll be engaged with them on a variety of issues. Once he gets confirmed, that's when the real work starts. Right now, it's really all about meeting with senators and getting him confirmed.
Right.
Going over the hearing record to make sure that we have answers to questions that are interesting to us. I mean, speaking of Scott Turner, we have Bill Pulte, who's the nominee.
A very familiar name for the housing industry.
A very familiar name. He's the grandson of Pulte Homes founder Bill Pulte.
Yep.
He's been nominated by President Trump to lead FHFA, Federal Housing Finance Agency, oversees Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, and the home loan banks.
Right.
But I've already had a chance to engage with him. Looking forward to working with him as he makes his way through the process. So looking forward to his confirmation process as well as he gets going.
Do you see any movement on Fannie and Freddie and removing them from conservatorship?
Oh yeah, no, I think that we should have that expectation that is going to be part of kind of job one is what does it take to bring Fannie and Freddie out of conservatorship and back into the wild, as we might want to say. And that'll be that will be in conjunction with Treasury and the Treasury Secretary is on the verge of being confirmed. So we've always been engaged. I said this is one of those issues I've been working on for 25 years, so the stakeholder community in housing finance we're pulling together to get a handle on what this needs to look like. What are the ramifications? Because it will be bumpy, but at the same time, we cannot continue to have Fannie and Freddie in conservatorship for now 15 years. It's just
apparently we can.
We can. Right? It was never designed to be a permanent fix.
Right.
But we'll have to engage Congress too because they're going to have to change the charters. It is not an easy undertaking, but. I think there's an opportunity to have at least start the conversation and let's see if we can't start unwinding this a little bit.
Absolutely. All right. So this is the first 5 days of the administration.
Yeah. First 5 days. He's off and running. I mean, and look, government should be working for us, right? And so the Senate's going to stay in as long as not going to take any breaks. Right. Good. I mean, that just keeps us busy. I mean, we're always busy. We're going to be busier than we have been in a while. I just think there's a real opportunity to do some good for the members in the industry and more importantly for homeowners and renters in America.
No, 100%. All right. I think that makes it.
Yeah.
I think this is a good podcast.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah,
the first new one for the administration.
Yeah, very, very exciting.
Yeah,
very exciting.
All right. Well, another shout out to LG Pro Builder.
Yeah, let's build a good life together. Thanks, LG.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
With that.
All right. Until next time.
Yeah.
All right. I'm Jim Tobin.
And I'm Paul Lopez.
See ya.
Bye.
Hi, this is Denise Miller. We're back for another episode of Builder Show Insider. And today we have Sarah Weber, who is Senior Director of Workforce Development and Student Chapters here at NAHB. Welcome, Sarah.
Thanks for having me, Denise. Happy to be here.
Yeah, we're very excited you're here. So one of the things that I think is a little known secret and an amazing part of the Builder Show is the student competition. Would you agree?
Wholeheartedly.
Right? I know maybe 5% of what happens. I see the students everywhere. Last year, as I was leaving the show one day, I was texted this really amazing photo, which we're going to insert so you all can see. They were the winners of last year, and I think they were from Tuskegee. Does that sound right?
Yes, that sounds right.
Okay. And it just brought me joy to see how excited they were. They were by the IBS letters. And again, I thought, why do I not know more about this? I've been here 22 years. I know it happens, but that's about the extent of it. So we were hoping for everyone, you could kind of explain what the competition is, kind of give people an overview of how it happens, why it happens. And then we'll have some other questions as we go on.
Yeah, happy to do that. Happy to share more information about the student competition. So this is actually the 34th year of the student competition. Wow. I know it's been going on for a long time, which is a true testament to the value that it does add to students who are studying for a career in residential construction. So the purpose of the student competition is to expose students to an in-depth residential construction project from concept to closing.
Okay. And are the students high school students, college students?
So we have high school students, associate degree students participating, and then 4-year and recently graduate students competing.
Oh, that's cool. And how do they find each other? Do they have teams?
Yeah, so in order to participate, you do have to have an NAHB student chapter established at your school. And then from that point on, you register your team and you recruit some students that are interested in this in-depth construction management project. And there's really no limit to how many students can participate leading up to the IBS program. But once you're at IBS and you're presenting in person, there's a maximum of 5 to 6 students that can be there to defend and present their proposal in front of a panel of judges.
Okay, that sounds really cool. How many schools usually participate?
Well, this year we have the most ever. 76 schools are going to be competing. So we're really excited about that. Really, the competition has just grown in number of participants. And we've got a great team that's leading to make sure that we keep on recruiting new teams to participate and making sure that we're delivering the best possible program for students.
So during the show, when does this happen?
Yeah, we kick off the Monday before the show.
Okay.
And so Monday and Tuesday, it's full days of presentations. We're tucked away in the South Hall, rooms South 219, 220, and 221. And we've got probably, anywhere from 15 to 20 teams that are presenting each day.
Wow. And so that's in the convention center. There's multiple halls, as I'm sure most people remember, but there's West, North, Central, South. So it's way at the end. And so it's on the second floor. If people wanted to attend this and see the teams participate and do their presentations, could they?
Yeah, we would love for more members to see what these students are producing. They spend their entire semester long preparing this written proposal and then making their big presentation in front of judges at the Builder Show. So it's absolutely open to anyone to come into those competition rooms and watch those presentations. The only thing that we ask is that you respect when a presentation begins, you stay in that room until the presentation concludes.
Okay, that makes sense. What would you say the average student will do after they finish their degree or their high school? Is this the next generation of building, do you think?
This absolutely is the next generation of builders and innovators for our industry. This competition particularly well prepares them for anything they might encounter post-graduation. Oftentimes, these students that are participating in the competition are receiving mentorship opportunities, internship, job opportunities, just alone from participating in this competition and getting to be in a room and in front of a panel of judges that are also industry professionals.
Okay, cool. And are there other people that help put this all together? Like, this sounds like a massive project every year.
It's a huge project. So I'm fortunate enough to have a wonderful student chapter advisory board that lends their expertise and guidance to make sure that this is an incredible top tier program for students to participate in and prepare them for a career in residential construction. And I also have a terrific consultant as well who is making sure that the project sponsors are fulfilling all of the requirements they need to make sure that the project is successful. And then, of course, the wonderful team members at the NAHB staff that I work with.
Great. I have to ask, because I went to Purdue University, is Purdue in the competition this year?
Purdue is in the competition.
Okay, great.
And
I saw them last year, and I didn't see the actual event. I've not gone to the event. I always try to make it, but schedule doesn't permit it. But I ran into them in the spot. We were handing out breakfast items, and they were so thrilled to have free food.
Naturally.
Yeah. And I think they have done well before.
Yes, Purdue has anywhere from 2 to 3 teams that they bring. So, and that's something important to note as well. A school can have multiple teams compete. So that's really exciting. But Purdue does really well historically, and they always bring a ton of students. They bring great energy.
Yeah, we have the whole, we're a team that travels, is what we always say. We travel. Is there anything else that you think would be great for people who are potentially attending the show to know about this?
Yeah, I think that if you're looking for an opportunity to be inspired and hopeful, this is definitely something that you want to check out. These students really are preparing for this moment in IBS for sometimes 5 months. So they're contributing blood, sweat, tears, heart into this. And you really see that shine from the students when they're presenting. And then, of course, on Wednesday at the International Builder Show, we have our student chapter's award ceremony where we announce the winners of the competition. Okay. And again, anyone can join that. It's a great time, great energy in that space. And just can't stress enough that these are the next leaders of our industry. They're in this room. Make some connections. If you have a business and you're looking for interns, please make sure that you're making connections with these students and sharing more about your business and what it means for you to be a professional in residential construction.
Yeah, that's great advice. What time is the awards ceremony on Wednesday?
2:30 to 4. Doors open at 2.
Okay, and that's also in South to one of those rooms, right?
Yes, South 222.
Okay, South 222. We're also going to include a clip of some high school students from last year on our IBS YouTube channel, so you can check that out. They kind of talk about what the competition meant to them, and they're very excited. Understandably, I think it's probably their first real experience in kind of a more professional setting, talking about what they do, and they really, I mean, it tugs at your heart. They're so excited to enter our industry, which is just fantastic. If someone's a member that's interested in learning more about student chapters or the residential competition, who would they contact or what would they do?
Yeah, they can reach out to me. My contact information is on any of the student chapter or student competition web pages on NAHB.org. Reach out to me. I'm always helpful to connect you with maybe a student chapter that already exists and you didn't know about, or if you're interested in getting involved with a school in your community and you want to bring this opportunity forward to them.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. We're glad that you guys are part of the show, and I hope a lot of you will check this out. It's I think it's one of the secrets that once you go, you'll probably want to go back. Thank you, Sarah, for being on Builder Show Insider today. We appreciate all the great information, and hopefully some of the people will join us at the show.
I hope to see them there.
So that's it for Builder Show Insider today. We'll join you next week. In the meantime, if you have not registered for the Builder Show, we are about 5 weeks out, so get your registrations in, and we will see you in Las Vegas.